You know the symptoms all too well, but some doctors say POTS, long haul, and dysautonomia aren't real.
Some doctors, okay, you mean a ton of them. And this past weekend, I got into a very heated discussion, and we're going to get into all the details. We're going to talk about why some people, or actually most people and most doctors, think it's fake. I'm going to get deep dive into it now. Here we go, everybody.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this discussion about, is POTS real? Is long haul real? Is dysautonomia real? Dr. Maggie has a lot to say about it. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Emanuel alongside Dr. Maggie Yu. What's up, Dr. Maggie?
I am excited to be here. I'm Maggie, UMD, and I am a functional and holistic medicine physician, 27-year veteran in functional medicine and family medicine. And I am super excited to be talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And it was triggered literally by being triggered this past weekend. So someone
Tell
said—
me about this discussion. You got into a talk with some other doctors about these issues, and they said, what? We don't consider that real.
Yeah. And before I get started, though, everybody who's watching right now, if you can tell me in chat where you're watching from, if you're an alumni in any one of our programs, type alumni. I'd love to know, alumni and where you're watching from. That'll be great. And if there's someone that's been dealing with any of these symptoms with long haul, POTS, dysautonomia, or they have no diagnosis, you may want to put their name in the comment section so they're aware. I want you to help me raise the level of awareness around this topic and why so many people think this is fake.
Which is like infuriating for those people who know and deal with these symptoms day in and day out, to hear that doctors don't even believe that they're true disorders.
Yeah. And just to preempt this a little bit, I was on a podcast, great podcast, called Awake at the Wheel, with several mental health practitioners in Canada. And as a matter of fact, I was discussing about the work that I do, helping people turn around long haul, POTS, dysautonomia. And we're listing some of the health symptoms that many doctors feel are, and they said, oh, you mean the symptom, the diagnosis where most of us doctors here in Canada are calling them fake or in people's head. And I went, fake? I was about ready to talk about the mental health impact of having these symptoms, but they came in with, oh yeah, in Canada, we're being taught that these are fake diagnoses. And I went, what?
And I was about to explode on this one, because you work with people day in and day out who are struggling with these symptoms.
I solve those problems for breakfast. And that's why they said, wow, we're going to have tons of questions about it. We're super excited about it. And they're actually bumping up when this podcast is going to be broadcast live sooner rather than later. So it should be up within a couple of days or even within a week. And it's called Awake at the Wheel. And they were so open to a conversation because they mentioned that in Canada with conventional medicine doctors, and this isn't just Canada, okay? How many people here in the United States, answer in chat right now, have seen a doctor or have been told by people that your long haul symptoms, your POTS or dysautonomia symptoms aren't real, they're fake, they're in your head, and your labs are normal?
And how frustrating when you look at somebody like Anna, who says she had trouble walking after having COVID pneumonia, and it took 2 years to recover from difficulty walking.
And people don't, why would, think about this. They asked me, so is it fake? Yeah. And I said, you're asking the wrong question. The question isn't, is it fake? Because the fact of the matter is, there's hundreds and hundreds of people catching us live right now. And if you're catching us live right now, a couple things, okay? I'm going to make sure. I found out yesterday that less than 10% of people who watch us on YouTube are not subscribed to us. So what I want to do is make sure, number one, is the best place to watch us is YouTube, because Facebook has limited our ability to go into our Facebook groups or go live in certain of our groups. So the best thing to do, we're going to add a link below. If you're watching anywhere, click the link to YouTube and go watch on YouTube, right? And then make sure you click the button subscribe, because every time you hit subscribe and you ring the bell to get notified, you're going to be notified every time we go live, our notifications, right? But you also will help the algorithm gods on YouTube to show it to as many people as possible. So super helpful if you are hopping over to YouTube. And if you're watching from YouTube, give me a boom in chat right now.
We love the booms. And Dr. Maggie, before we go any further, I do want to mention something to you as well, because you're going to want to stick around for this entire show. Coming up at the end, we're debuting a new segment, and it is called
A new segment?
Here, we got a little theme music to go along with it. It's called Fan Mail with Dr. Maggie U.
All right. We got fan mail, fan mail.
Yeah, you're gonna want to see this. And Jimmy Ryan, if you are watching from Rio Vista, California, we received your fan mail, and just you wait, we're going to showcase it and have Dr. Maggie even react to what you had to say. So looking forward to that. But getting back to a little bit what you were talking about here, when it comes to doctors don't even think this is real, yet there are symptoms and people are having real struggles, but they're being told it's in your head.
Well, and the question is that this is what we did to fibromyalgia in the 1980s and 90s and 2000s. The fact of the matter is, let's say I'm going to list some of the symptoms of long haul POTS and dysautonomia. And for every and any one of you that have those symptoms, I want you to type in chat, because I want you to tell the world how real it is for you. So who has these symptoms? Number one, you easily get dizzy or faint or nauseated. Number two, when you change positions, whether it's sitting up, laying down, even sometimes turning your head, you feel like you're slightly losing your balance or a lot losing your balance, right? You notice that your heart goes super fast or super slow at different times, seemingly randomly. And some people will even notice that their blood pressure will go up and down with slight or big positional changes, right? That's just some of the symptoms. On top of that, there's brain fog, difficulty focusing, chronic fatigue, and what about joint pain?
Yes.
Right? How many people have joint pain that's associated with this? You don't even know it's associated. You're like, why the heck am I suddenly getting joint pain? Now, with long haul, it can be because you got the big C. And then as a result, after that, these symptoms suddenly appeared and new. For people with POTS and dysautonomia, this is something that could have started as a child, or as they are growing older and the hormones change and there's a variety of other stressors that come in, these symptoms appear, and they could be something that they've had chronically for years, and those symptoms can go up and down. So how many people here in our audience know for a fact that you have these symptoms? Type in chat and let's be counted. Because the mere fact, every single one of you that says, this is me, and you list some of your symptoms or give me a little history on what's going on with this, this is real for millions of people. In the world right now, 65 million people have been medically diagnosed with having long haul. Okay. And that's the people who actually went to a doctor and officially had enough symptoms, because there's no diagnostic testing for this, officially had enough symptoms that they can say, oh, okay, you qualify as having the list of symptoms that someone would have long haul. That's 65 million people worldwide. Now, how many of you out there never even went to the doctor for these symptoms and don't have a diagnosis? So in my estimation, as I've said previously, at least I'm thinking 1/3 have the diagnosis and 2/3 don't. And that's in my own experience, because we deal with thousands of people coming with these symptoms every year, right? And so I think there are at least 250 million people that fit in this category worldwide right now. That's not a small number. That's a big number, right?
Huge.
Right.
And we're hearing, from people like Lori, and she illustrates the point that you're trying to make today so nicely by saying she's got POTS, and it is real for her. Almost 20-year struggle. Never did she ever have a doctor tell her that she could get better, or probably really validate everything that she was going through, until she worked with you, Dr. Maggie.
Well, and I want to point out Lori, and maybe I'll let Lori tell the audience where she is today, because if Lori's who I think you are, Lori, it is generally accepted. And we just interviewed Joe Fram last week, and he's had long haul for 3 years or 4 years. Right. And he still has a ton of symptoms, and he's working with a team of doctors, the best in the world.
Yes, he has a lot of connections, and yet he even is somebody who he says, I've got privilege when it comes to this. I've got all the connections in the world.
With all the education, with all the money and time that he has spent on this, and the best team in the world, it is an unsolvable problem. He still currently is really struggling with those symptoms, to the point where it's really limited. He's approaching even the peak of his professional career as a conductor, right? As a principal conductor, with trepidation and fear. Can I really do it? This has a major impact. And this is a real medical diagnosis, right? In terms of, we now have enough millions of people with long haul to say, okay, this is the list of 10 symptoms that these people tend to have. And if they have these symptoms and they happen to have COVID before, and that's what brought it on, they have a diagnosis. But it tells you that there's diagnostic conundrum as to how do you call somebody with this, right? And right now, some of these terms are descriptive. Long haul is a descriptor. It just means that whoever has this doesn't have a blood test that diagnosed it. You have a list of symptoms and enough of them to say, after time frame from COVID, to say, yes, that's what you have. Now, for people with POTS and dysautonomia, good luck with that. Good luck with that, right? Catherine here says she's had POTS since 14 and she's 22 years old now. That's 8 years. 8 years, right? And so one of the things about it is that it is really hard to get that diagnosis. There isn't a blood test that says you have POTS. There isn't even a blood test that says you have long haul or dysautonomia. So if there isn't some x-ray, some blood tests, then the problem is that people tend to think of some of these symptoms as generalized anxiety, right? Think about that.
I want to highlight this comment from Kelly too, saying my brain fog and shortness of breath created horrible anxiety and depression. And so when you're talking about doctors already not believing you because it's some of these invisible symptoms, and then you add on the mental health aspect, they're going to just continue that narrative of it's in your head.
So we have a special name in the medical field for these types of illnesses. We used to call them in our chart note supratentorial. Do you guys know what supratentorial means? Some of you guys even see it in, maybe you might see it in your medical record and you're like, oh, that sounds really cool. Now I have a diagnosis. It means it's all in your head.
Ooh,
because
in your head.
The base of the brain is called tentorium. Like, so it's supratentorium means above the tentorium. It means it's all up here in your head. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's our official name for that.
So that gets put potentially on people's charts when they're dealing with absolutely real life-altering symptoms in many cases. And yes, there are some doctors that will recognize this, but there are many, many more who are actually being taught, like those that you met on the podcast.
Yeah. And they were great. They wanted me to really dive into it. And they were like, oh, this is such a refreshing conversation, because sometimes in Canada, they're saying, sometimes even saying that it's real makes you as a doctor stand out as a heretic or a health conspiracy theorist. And it's not just Canada. Like, we have clients with POTS, dysautonomia, long haul coming from Switzerland, like different countries where they've been told that this is fake, right? So there's diagnostic reasons why this is the case. The other thing too is we are describing a set of symptoms that might have many different causes.
It just, when you mentioned that thing about the doctors being looked at on the fringe of their field, it reminds me, we have seen this many, many times in history, right? Of doctors who have said, wait a minute, I think I see something going on here. And they've been laughed at or mocked or what have you, and been told, you don't know what you're talking about. I remember reading a story even about a doctor who was raising the alarm about proper hygiene practices, right? When OBGYNs were helping deliver babies, and they weren't necessarily washing in between patients, right? And so many mothers were dying as a result of this, until one doctor said, wait a minute, I think we need to work on our hygiene. And they looked at him like, ha ha, yeah, right. But yet that was the key. And so is it something similar to that, where we see this repeatedly in medicine of many doctors say, that's not the mainstream way, what you're saying is not real. And they're mocked even in some cases, but yet eventually it comes around to, okay, this is very real.
Well, remember, somebody was burned at the stake for saying that the world was round. Right? I'm going to offend some people right now. Right? But that being said, when bless UCLA, one of the top medical schools in the country that went to, and I remember being in one of the first lectures in my first 4 years of medical school, and one of the instructors said, I just want you guys to know, everything that you guys are going to learn in the next 4 years, within the next 5 to 10 years will be considered wrong.
Wow.
Right? And so it is with that humility that we have to understand that the world and what we know about the world and what we know about disease is constantly changing. And the issue for me is that we are in a stage of where medicine, conventional medicine, is really focused on diagnosis. A lot of us clinicians are really just trained. You're here to diagnose. You're here to diagnose, and that's your main role. And then once you're able to diagnose, punt to the quickest place possible so someone can get some sort of treatment for something. Which lane are they going to go? I talked about on the podcast on Saturday how people don't realize when they go into a primary care physician office or any pediatrician or anybody's, most of the doctors you go to in the office, they're trained incredibly well to be sorters, sifters and sorters. So we're trained to be able to deal with 90% of the symptoms that come in really easily and quickly. We're paid on volume. So we're paid either hourly or on volume. So see as many volume as possible so you can get the adequate amount of compensation, or you're just paid hourly. So you know what, we want to squeeze as many patients in per hour as possible. This is not conducive to dealing with complex chronic health conditions like the ones that we're talking about today. And so people go in thinking in this 5, 10, maybe 15-minute encounter that they're going to be coming in and having an in-depth conversation as to, well, I have these symptoms and they seem to be all over the place. And oh yeah, I have joint pain. And oh yeah, I had a heart rate of 100, which so fast I went to the emergency room. They think that they're going to be able to have an in-depth conversation as to what's causing this problem, and they don't. Yeah. Really, what the doctor is, and I know I worked in family medicine for 10 years and I trained family medicine doctors. And what I did was, and what we all did was, what can we do to quickly order the testing that we need minimally, most cheaply and efficiently to get this person out of the room, only to tell them, like a couple days later, your labs are fine. Everything's normal. You might want to get on, hormonally, you might want to get on some birth control pills. You might want to get on some antidepressants. You might want to exercise and lose some weight, or you might want to get some therapy. Those are our
too, then, is there are major diagnostic challenges when it comes to this?
Correct. There are major diagnostic challenges, but which is why for me, I think doctors and you, the whole title of today's talk is long haul dysautonomia and POTS fake. I think it's the wrong question. We already know there are millions and millions of people with these symptoms. So period, it's real. Okay, unless we think all these people are lying, which they're not, this is real. The question is not whether it's, and that's what I said on the podcast. I said, it's a fact. It's real.
Okay.
We did this to fibromyalgia 20 years ago. And how many people did we dismiss telling them fibro was fake? And, even right now, some doctors think fibromyalgia is fake. It's not.
Well, look at Kimberly Miller saying all her labs were coming back normal until she started working with you and you knew what to look for.
What I think is this. Here's the problem. The problem is that when you look at these symptoms, they actually is an end result of underlying root problems. There are deeper problems that are causing it. I think the wrong question is not, is it fake or is it real? If enough people are experiencing it, it's real. Okay, number one. The real question that people should be asking is, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys think should be the real question? What should the real question you be asking your doctor, or your doctor should be asking you, like, oh, is it real or is it fake? What should be the real question? And here's the deal. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. I say this all the time, right? And I think about Lori that we were just talking about. Lori asked deeper questions. Like she asked, could it be, like, I think one of the questions, and I won't answer for her, but I can tell you right now, Lori asked deeper questions of herself and of us. What's causing this problem? Yeah. What is causing this problem? And most importantly, what can we do to end it? Like, I think the best question is, what can we do to fix this? The real question isn't like, am I experiencing this or not? You already know you are. The real question is, what do I got to do to fix this as quickly, succinctly, effectively as possible? That's the question, not
hallelujah. That's what we need answered. It's not, is this real or not? Because it so clearly is real. It's, what do we do about it? And Dr. Maggie, I mean, is there much help out there in the conventional medicine world for this?
No. That's the issue, is if there is a problem, they don't, number one, don't believe it's real. Number two, they don't have a treatment for. So that's the thing, is they're like, well, even if it's real, there's nothing I can do about it. And all the labs are normal. So, why bother? Why bother? And they don't want you coming back over and over and over and over again. So, so the problem is that there are no tools. And we talked about that when we were talking to Joel as well, his sister's a cardiologist. We send all these people to the cardiologist because they have fast heart rate, or they may have some blood pressure changes, and their heart tests all come back normal because it's not a heart problem,
No.
right? Right? Just because you have a fast heart rate or your blood pressure can go up and down, does that mean there's something broken or wrong with your heart? Come on.
It's just your heart also showing that this is a real thing because you're experiencing real symptoms.
Your heart's reacting to the underlying causes. Your heart is just one of the targeted organs, right? Just like your brain hormones are, which is why anxiety is really a part of the syndrome, or brain fog or lack of focus, right? And your joints, right? Why do you have joint pain? Well, that's a target of whatever's going on, as well is the joints. You're dealing with a multi-systemic attack on multiple targets in your body. And that's why it feels like it's all over the place and you're playing whack-a-mole. And this is also why most of these patients are diagnosed as having something in their head.
Well, and this person has this to say too. Not only are they being gaslit by their doctors, but then you wind up in a cycle of almost gaslighting and questioning yourself, saying, well, is this real? Am I experiencing this? Maybe I'm not. Maybe, what is this from? Could it be something else?
Which is why I think, to me, the focus is wrong on, is it real, right? And that their labs are normal, or do they have the diagnosis or don't they? That, to me, throw that out the door. The real question is, what's causing it and can I fix it? The answer is, there are multiple things that I 100% know causes this problem, and they're fixable.
It is so wonderfully refreshing, I know, for people to hear, you know why this is happening, you know what's causing it to happen, you know how to address the reasons why this is happening and make it stop happening. And this is something that I know you're going to really dive a lot deeper into in an upcoming workshop.
That's just what I'm thinking. I want to talk to people who are ready to do something different about this. Okay, this is the thing. I mean, there are people who want to learn more and get educated. There are people who are thinkers, who want to think more and process about this. I want to talk to the doers. When is enough enough? Right? When is enough enough? And for me, when I think about my own health and what happened to me when I was, 36 with early menopause, right? And I had early menopause, all my hormones were shut down. I had severe depression, anxiety. I was diagnosed with ADD, right? Mm-hmm. And I had, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, neuropathy, like all these things happening. And sometimes for me, I see people having, and I'm smart. I'm a doctor. I did everything that I was told to do. I took the meds. I did the blood tests. I did all those things, right? And I wasn't better. And at a certain point, I had to change my identity. At a certain point, I had to change my identity as the passive recipient of the sick care that I was delivering.
And what did you change it into?
I'm a doer. I kick ass, take names, chew bubble gum. Right? You have to change your identity as the passive recipient of sick care. And you have to become the person who's like, enough is enough. I'm going to, are there people out there who knows what's causing this problem? Are there people who are successfully able to turn this around? What the hell are they doing? And how do I get to the front of that line?
Yeah. Find the people who are solving these problems and go talk to them. Find the practitioner that knows how to address this and go work with that person. You like to say success leaves clues. Well, if you want to be successful as well, follow those clues to find your own health as well.
I have a better line than success leaves clues.
Give it to me.
Because I don't want little crumbs. I don't want to have and Gretel you. Right? I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm not delivering you crumbs. So what I'm just going to say is there's a QR code there next Thursday. Success is a system. Success is tactical.
Yes.
Success requires action.
Take action.
I'm not going to have you play Dora the Explorer with your long haul, with your pots, with your just the autonomia. No, Dora the Explorer. You're not exploring this. Let's get a system on this. Let's get tactical. And let's kick some booty on this. You got to take a action. So what we're going to be doing here is, and that requires whoever is interested in doing that and learning what is the system, what's really causing this, how do I get tactical, what are the actions I need to take, what am I going to do here? Success requires you to be a doer.
I love it.
So
Thursday, June 13th, coming up at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you are going to host this workshop where you want people to go ahead, scan the QR code, get signed up so that you can actually talk with them to work on solving some of these issues.
100%. And we'll also share the link in YouTube, and we'll be sharing the link in Facebook and other venues where you're watching this as well, is get registered. Okay. Doors open at 2:30. I want you guys to come in 2:30, hang out. This is going to be direct. What I want to do is I want to be able to meet you guys, interact with you directly. I want to meet the doers here. I want to meet the doers and action takers, because we're going to kick ass, take names, and choose a bubble gum when you're ready to fix this problem. So I love this. Can't wait. I can't wait to see you also. That's awesome. But here's the thing. We talk about when you say success leaves clues. Well, you know what? Why don't you just meet some successful people? Let's just meet some successful people. I know there's a lot of people here in chat that I've already worked with you. I can see you in the chat already. You've already experienced some major turnarounds or complete turnaround of either your long haul, your POTS, or dysautonomia. I've invited some of you to join me because I want you guys to meet people who have successfully done this, period. Proof.
Well, Kelly has to say, she's calling you the autoimmune Northern Light. I love it.
I love it. And I mean, and Kelly might share where she was and where she is now. Right? Here's the thing is you really want to see, how did somebody with symptoms the same or worse than me turn it around in a really tactical, succinct, action-oriented way with a system? Right. So that's what that is what I'm here to talk about next Thursday. I can't wait to do that. I know that we're asking the wrong question. And if you're working with people who say that, is it real or is it fake? Or if you're starting to ask this yourself, we're done with that. Enough is enough.
Yeah. And would you say run from those physicians who are asking those questions of if it's even real?
That is a run, right? Because that means your symptoms aren't being believed. Right? Your symptoms are real. So if you have physicians that are providers you're working with, they're like, well, we don't even know if it's real or fake, or they're saying, we don't even know, that means that you're not believed.
And again, many of these physicians are wonderfully smart people who mean well.
Absolutely. 100%. And when I was doing the podcast as well, they weren't arguing with me about whether they thought it was real or not. They were just making a statement that generally it is considered in the medical field as being fake. And that's when I was like, no, I disagree with that vehemently. And they're like, ooh, and they got excited. That's the thing is, if you have the doctors that you're working with and people you're working with, when you're like, no, it absolutely is real. And in fact, and they're salivating, those are the people you want to hang out with. Those are the people that's going to help you kick some ass, right?
Well, Lori, this comment from Lori, she said she had tons of tests and workups, just like Joel, who was our last guest last week about this, who's also dealing with long haul. And over the years, Lori says she had all of these things happening and no hope until now, because only a short time in your program and having great improvement. And she's heading now to a nutritional session to talk about how diet might impact some of these things. So
yeah, and
love to hear that.
And Lori's working on hormones. And I will tell you right now, 100% of doctors except me is going to tell you that one of the main root causes of long haul, POTS, and dysautonomia is your hormones. Male, female, men, women, children, I'm telling you. So this is going to be, I want to be able to talk more about this in more depth. And that's why I'm going to be doing a kick-ass training, action-packed training that we're going to be doing next Thursday. So I want to make sure that you guys, make sure you hit the QR code, make sure you click the link in chat, register for it. And once you register too, there's going to be some additional resources and trainings that we're going to be sharing with you guys in email to prepare you for this. The other thing too is, hey, if you want to cut the line and you're like, I just want to end this now. Enough is enough. What's the action I need to take to end this? Right? Then just book a call with our team, because we have multiple different types of program strategies unique to each person's situation that we need to personalize. Like every person's solution is different. So if you want to book a call with our team, that's a great way to cut the line and just get to the result.
And Dr. Maggie, I want to highlight this comment from Pam, who I think this is so wonderful and love to get your reaction to this as well. You don't have to be the one who is dealing with these symptoms to want to come and educate yourself, because Pam says, I'm not having these issues, but I'm interested in helping others. I take care of patients as an RN. I want to sign up and learn more. I love it.
100%. And in fact, this is exactly what was happening when I was talking about this with the mental health providers on Awake at the Wheel podcast. They were excited. They're like, this isn't available. Like we've never seen or heard of a physician, an MD, doing a training about how to solve this quote unquote not even real illness. They were flabbergasted. So this is why they're pushing the podcast we recorded out sooner rather than later. I think it's coming out, I think, a day before the live next Thursday. And they're doing that speed rushing it on purpose because like we want people to go to this training. We want we want providers. Mm-hmm. We want people to be able to come and get this training done, which is the other thing is people don't realize, and this is something, is that we actually certify and we train providers. So there's a lot of medical doctors, naturopathic physicians, chiropractors who actually have come to our program or are attracted to our program. And they're like, how can I get certified to be able to learn this and provide this type of care and provide this type of education for my patients? Mm-hmm. Right? Learning how to teach this and deliver this in a way, and have it be understood by regular people as well as doctors is a skill set, right? So we have provider certification programs designed around this. So
if any provider is interested in this, also maybe book a chat with the team to get you hooked up with more information about that.
We already have that happening, and we don't advertise it, and we haven't never advertised it, but we're going to be starting to let people know that we train providers as well. So that's coming up shortly, but we've already had tons of physicians from all around the world reach out to us to get trained.
Well, because how can you argue with something like this, a result like this? Kelly again saying brain fog gone in 10 days of your program, Dr. Maggie, triple the energy, not just double the energy, triple the energy, and no more joint pain after just 5 weeks. Probably symptoms that Kelly had been dealing with for a very long time, all turning around in a matter of days and weeks.
Well, and some people would say they don't want to even share that when it's happening that first week or second week, and they are worried it's a fluke.
Yeah, and I don't believe it.
Well, I had someone just last night saying, oh, it's been the 3rd week. I haven't had any of these symptoms. And then she's like, I'm finally going to share that one because I didn't want to jinx it. But Kelly, tell people how far out you are since that happened, because the next thing is this a fluke or is it sustainable? Mm-hmm. And I am going to tell everybody watching this, hell yes, it is sustainable. I'm sorry, I'm a fan of the cursey word. So hell yes, this is not only fixable, in her case, 10 days to 5 weeks, right? Yeah. Real success. And Kelly, I mean, if you can join our live on, if you can join the live training on Thursday, I would love for people to meet you and for you to share your results and your journey with people. Show them how you did this, right?
I love it. And she's not alone. I mean, Kimberly also saying my gastroparesis and my stomach pain was gone after 6 weeks of working with you. Gone. I'm assuming this is something that Kimberly dealt with for a long time as well.
Yeah, and gastroparesis generally considered to be related to autoimmune, just so you guys know. And guess where most of these patients go? To their GI gut doctor. So gastroparesis means that the bowel muscles move really slowly. So, and people are like, well, then that must go see the gut doctor, right? Well, they know nothing about autoimmune disease.
Nothing. Yeah.
Right? So how would they fix that? So in that sense, we're going to the wrong specialists, and specialists don't have any training around what's really causing an autoimmune symptom like that. So again, we have a victim organ with a victim symptom, and then we have very little treatment for it, right? None of the meds really work. Kelly says graduate in November.
Yeah, so she's saying so the results are sustainable because she's been good since she graduated last November, and here we are. It's June already, and sustainable results. I just want to highlight one more from our friend Kara Price, because we're talking so much about POTS. Hi Kara. After less than 2 weeks of working with you, Dr. Maggie, her symptoms that she had of POTS for 40 years were gone.
And Kara, I would love for you to show up at on the training on Thursday if you can, because people need to see that this is real. Don't take my word for it. Take proof, evidence, and ask them what is their pathway to success. So you know what? I'm going to be Kara, Kelly. I'm inviting everybody who I've worked with thousands of individuals around this. I'm going to invite them to come in to join the live so that you guys have a chance with Q&A, not just me, but of people who have successfully turned this around in a matter of weeks, Not years, not months, weeks.
Massive problems require massive action. Are you wanting to take that action? This workshop sounds like it's the first step.
Agreed, 100%. So make sure you sign up for that. And that the link is going to be there. And then if you are interested in cutting the line and just working directly with us to solve the problem now, then book a chat with our team.
Yep. And Kara says she's going to be there.
I love it. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Dr. Maggie, we do have our new special segment to get to, which is fan mail, fan mail, fan mail.
Fan mail.
Okay. We got punchy music to go along with it.
Okay.
I love it. So I just want to show this to you, Dr. Maggie. Here I am going to pull up an actual letter that the team received addressed to Dr. Maggie Yu. And I just want to read it for you, Dr. Maggie. Dear Dr. Maggie Yu, I hope you're doing well. Do you like school? Do you have dogs or cats? Have you heard of a Cessna 172? I mean, how sweet.
I actually have.
You've heard of this?
Yes. That's the Skyhawk. One of my friends is actually learning to fly in that plane right now.
Okay, see, Dr. Maggie knows everything. She really knows everything there is to know. I just love the sweetness and the purity of this letter because you have fans of, just goes to show you're helping people of all ages and you're connecting with people of all ages all over the world. This person, Jimmy Ryan, goes on to say, have you heard of ear infections?
Jimmy, yes, I have. And my better question is, why do you ask?
Why do you ask? Yeah. Do you need more information about that? Dr. Maggie, Jimmy wants to know, who is your favorite NFL football team?
Okay, this is going to be very polarizing. This is going to be extremely polarizing. You guys have to guess. Do you guys know what my favorite NFL team is? Type in chat.
Well,
in fact, tell me what your favorite NFL team is. I'm curious what are some of the answers is going to be because I'm going to tell you guys something, okay?
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Bucks just because I'm a Floridian. Dr. Maggie was born, you lived in California for a while. Now you're in the Oregon, Washington area. Jonathan chiming in saying 49ers. Somebody
Jonathan
Seahawks. Dr. Maggie.
I love it.
Who is your favorite team?
I dislike football intensely.
What? Un-American.
Okay, the thing I love the most about football, okay, I'm going to tell you guys, is the chicken wings.
I knew it was going to be the food. It had to be the food for Dr. Maggie. It always comes back to she gets so excited about the food, right?
I love the food. And for me, like being a foodie, and I have hosted like Super Bowl parties and I've attended. For me, the most exciting thing is the food. And I will tell you that my favorite actually Super Bowl, it is the wings, but my second favorite by far is actually deviled eggs. Okay. My favorite Super Bowl snack is deviled eggs. And I make a mean deviled egg. I'm just telling you guys that.
Well, you're the one bringing it to the party. At least if you're coming to enjoy the party, we'll still accept you. But saying you don't like
wow, there's a lot of
me is a little bit like she doesn't like apple pie either, right? Wow, of course she probably does because it's food.
Oh, the Steelers fans are like inundating chat.
Yeah, they're getting it going up. The Steelers, big time. So, well, this is good. So that's what Jimmy wanted to know. Jimmy also says, what is your favorite school subject?
Okay, you guys, this may surprise you because being a medical doctor, MD, graduating out of UCLA undergrad and in medical school, you guys probably think biology, right? Of course. In fact, do you guys know what the most popular major at UCLA was before medical school? It's actually called kinesiology. Oh, kinesiology, okay. Which is about muscle and movement, which for me, comes back full circle. I wish more medical doctors graduated to really, truly understand how powerful and impactful kinesiology, muscle, movement, tendon, fascia is, which is the live I just did this morning. I don't know if you guys caught it. I did a live this morning and it was with Sue Hitzman with Melt Method. And we talked about how, did you guys hear about this? Halsey, they just announced that they, at the age of 29, has been struggling with not one, not two, not three, but 5 autoimmune related, immune related, and mystery illnesses.
Among them, like lupus, mast cell,
Sjogren's, POTS, right? This is real. Yeah. Okay. And so these are invisible POTS, listed as real, by the way, in the news. All right. So
well, now that a celebrity bringing attention to this, and you hate to hear of a celebrity being afflicted with something, but at the very least, it is bringing attention and it is captivating more people to say, wait a minute, this is something that this person that I love is dealing with. What is it? Now I want to learn more about it and perhaps believe that it is real.
I'm just going to tell you guys, if you guys can tag at Halsey on this, we're also going to share the live that I did with Sue. But the thing that bothers me is that this is listed as all these incurable, horrible illnesses, mystery illnesses. And it's like generally accepted as if these are incurable, difficult, unicorn, orphan illnesses. And I looked at the list and I was like, oh, you mean this is a typical people that we talk to about 100 times a week?
Right.
Like, this is a pattern that's really missed, and they are solvable problems. So I'm just going to say, like, next week, if you guys are up for it, I want to take a look at Halsey's case. I'm going to look at their case, and I'm going to take a look at those particular diagnoses and why it's a secret pattern that's being missed. Okay. What is a pattern I see that her doctors are not seeing? Right. Yeah. If you guys are interested in that, type in chat, Halsey, and I am thrilled. And if you don't know who Halsey is, she's a musician. And
great music, wonderful music. I mean, popular pop culture type music, and hate to hear that she's dealing.
It doesn't have to be invisible illness. And in fact, that's a pattern I can't wait to blow the lid off of next week. If you guys want me to do that, write Halsey in chat, and I will absolutely do that next week.
Okay, definitely.
Okay.
More about
so
that.
My favorite subject
was kinesiology.
It's not kinesiology.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
I'm just going to tell you guys this. I was a history major.
Oh.
I love history. I love the humanities. And the reason is I love stories. I love stories. I love people. I also love the lessons from the past and not repeating them. Like, that's really big. I like, one of the things in my approach to medicine is let's not repeat the shit that didn't work.
Yeah.
Excuse my, oh wait. Jimmy Ryan.
Jimmy might be watching.
I'm a fan of the cursey words, Jimmy Ryan. Your mom and dad but I'm sure that he knows this, so I'm gonna keep it clean. I'm gonna keep it clean, Jimmy Ryan. But yeah, I can't remember what I said now.
Because you love history because it's all about not repeating past mistakes.
Yeah, and for me, we're repeating the same mistake with POTS, long haul, dysautonomia that we did with fibromyalgia, which is blaming it on people. It is in people's head. So not getting to the root cause of this fast enough, not thinking of strategies and systems to fix these problems that afflict millions and millions of people until we become one of them. So I'm telling you, until doctors become one of them and millions of them, there isn't an incentive for them to really take a different style and a different look to this problem than the standard 10-minute warehouse medicine sick care.
I love that. You're so well-rounded in that. I bet most physicians didn't study history to begin with.
I love history. I'm a history freak, everybody.
Well, it's just part of what makes you that much more well-rounded, I think, and is making you think differently than others. When everybody's going right, you're going left. Okay, Jimmy wants to know, have you heard of Matt Damon?
That's really random. Who hasn't heard of Matt Damon here?
Right, of course. Matt Damon, wonderful actor.
You know what would be funny would be I should pull a Jimmy Fallon, or is it Jimmy Fallon?
I think it's Jimmy
Kimmel.
No, it's Jimmy Kimmel who says, we ran out of time.
We ran out. Just so you guys know, Matt Damon was going to be on the show, but we ran out of time today.
Have a great night.
I love it. Writing you back. You know what, Jimmy? We are doing one better. I'm not just writing you back. We are answering your questions live on here. You're actually on the show, Jimmy Ryan.
So yeah, Jimmy, thank you for this sweet note. He said he watched some of your videos and your live streams on YouTube. By the way, Jimmy, you're on the right platform because everybody needs to join us on YouTube. As you've mentioned, Facebook is going away with our ability to stream into some of our groups. So please go like the Transform Dr. Maggie U YouTube page and ring the bell to get subscribed as well, so you always know when we're going live. So Jimmy Ryan, thank you for that sweet note. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a Dr. Maggie fan and writing fan mail. Hey, if you want to send fan mail of your own, we'd love to hear from you. You can find Dr. Maggie's information easily on the interwebs, so please send it, and we just might feature your segment as well.
Fan mail, fan mail, fan mail.
Here's Pam just bringing up another something else here. Wanting to
That's
know.
Halsey's, one of her diagnoses, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. We call that EDS. So who wants me to blow the lid on that and how it's connected to POTS, mast cell activation, long haul? So you're hitting the right shop here right now. If you guys want me to talk more about EDS and the connections, remember Halsey was diagnosed with I think lupus. Yeah, lupus, Sjogren's, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, POTS, and mast cell activation syndrome. Okay.
And it sounds like a lot of things, but these are so many common disorders that you see grouped together, that you see people dealing with, not just one of them, but multiple. Yeah. And they can have the same root causes, Dr. Maggie?
Well, they have the same group of root causes that are shocking. So yeah, there's enough interest. There's so many comments coming in about wanting me to talk more about these diagnoses, the hidden pattern in it, and solving Halsey's case. So I will be excited next week to talk about that. And Luis, oh my God, I love all these people in the chat going boom. Thank you so much. So I love it. Thank you, Blaze. Oh my God, it looks like Jack. Blaze, your cat looks just like that.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh, and that was one of the questions. Do I like dogs?
Oh yeah, we didn't have that question. Yeah.
I have two dogs.
Do you have dogs or cats?
Both. I am an animal lover. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. And one of my passions is actually holistic, natural veterinary medicine. So
I can attest to that.
I love dogs. I love cats. I love animals. I love animal husbandry, so I had chickens before, horses, you name it. So I love animals. And I am as passionate about their health as I am about people's health.
Well, and you have done real work to help animals by many of the clients that you've worked with, whether it be by accident or not, because I'm one of them. Exactly. I have a very elderly dog who is just beloved and dealing with many afflictions. So Dr. Maggie, without you, because we were told he would be gone 2 years ago, we were told he had 3 months to live. That was 2 years ago.
You took action. Like you took action. I told you exactly what to do and you did everything I said. I mean, we talked about changing his diet and I told you exactly how to change his diet. And that was like, boom, you did it. It was like the week later.
Here he is 2 years later and doing relatively well for a dog who's about to turn 15 years old.
I love it. All right, everybody. That is and we're in the days of summer here. This is why we got some bright colors going on. And I'm just excited to be entering June and into summer. We're going to be blowing the lid. I had fun today, just so you guys know. Fan mail, a new segment. I love it.
Yeah, we love it. Send us your comments. Have somebody write in if you're interested as well, because I know if you're watching this live, you're likely a fan of Dr. Maggie as well, like most of us are.
All right, everybody, that is a wrap. And I would love to see you guys next week at this live training that I'm going to be doing. And then that would be awesome. Just click, check that QR code and I will see you guys there, everybody. That is a wrap today.
Okay. Thank you for your time today and talking about this, Dr. Maggie. And we hope to see everybody at the workshop.
Bye-bye.